Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to go into chapter 31 of One of Us is Next by Karen M. McManus, which means we are 3 chapters away from finishing this book off, which is amazing with how fast we are reading these books, especially since we just started this last week. Anyways, let's get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. Chapter 31. Maeve, Saturday, March 28th. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, being introduced for the first time as husband and wife. Please welcome Eli Kleinfetter and Ashton Prentice. The crowd in the hotel ballroom gets to their feet for a standing ovation as Eli leads Ashton onto the dance floor. Everyone is clapping so loudly that we nearly drown out the music. Last night, Ashton and Eli told everyone they still planned to get married today, but understood completely if people didn't want to come. We all did, down to the last guest except the Lawtons. The wedding is basically uncoordinated at this point because Mrs. Lawton has her hands full elsewhere. Nobody knows what really happened between Emma Lawton and Jared Jackson. Eli was only able to get bits and pieces of information last night and this morning. From what he can tell, Emma stumbled across paperwork for her father's workers' comp settlement shortly after Christmas. She was angry enough to look for Simon's old revenge form when she met Jared Jackson and told him what Brandon had done. Jared raised the idea of a revenge pact, and Emma didn't immediately shut him down. But after that, it gets murky. According to Eli, Emma says she stopped talking to Jared right after the Truth or Dare game launched. She insists she didn't know Brandon was going to die or that Eli was a target, and Jared insists that she did. The rest of us are just waiting for the truth to come out. I don't know how Eli managed to worry about Knox and me in the middle of all of this, but he made sure we knew that Phoebe's only involvement was Emma using her name. Phoebe is no longer a person of interest to the police, he told us. Phoebe herself texted Knox and me right before we left for the wedding. I love you both. Thanks for what you did. I'm so glad you're okay. I can't say anything else right now, so please don't ask. I'm sorry. I wish things were different and that she could have been part of today. Ashton and Eli's wedding ceremony turned out to be the perfect antidote to yesterday's trauma. Watching them exchange their vows reminded everybody that love and hope and beauty still exist even when things seem impossibly dark. My mood has been lifting steadily all day. And now that Ashton and Eli are moving across the dance floor unsteadily because Eli cannot dance, but beaming at one another, I almost feel normal. Addie, who was in tears for most of last night, stands smiling at the edge of the dance floor in a beautiful ice blue maid of honor's dress. She's holding a bouquet of white roses in one hand and the arm of a cute groomsman/molecular biologist Daniel with the other. He bends toward her ear and says something and makes her laugh so hard she almost drops the flowers. Ashton looks gorgeous, Browen says. She's standing beside me at our reception table, her hand firmly in Nate's. I don't think she lets go of him since he was discharged from the hospital this morning. Nate's the least formally dressed of all of us since he couldn't manage to get anything except a t-shirt over his sling. Surgeons removed 5 chunks of metal from his left arm last night, and he's bandaged up to his shoulder. He'll have scars for life, probably, but he's incredibly lucky that he doesn't have nerve damage, and that he works for Mr. Myers. Knox's dad came to the hospital last night to let Mrs. Macaulay know that the company disability policy will cover Nate's salary while he recuperates. For how long, Mrs. Macaulay asked nervously. As long as it takes, he replied. Now Nate grins at Browen and me. Eli looks like he's about to keel over. I'm pretty sure that this is his first time on a dance floor, I say. Nate nods. I believe it. Browen gazes around the crowded ballroom. Where's your date? She asks me. Talking to Mom and Dad, I say, pointing a few tables over to where Mom is smiling brightly at Louise and Dad just clapped him on the shoulder. My sister scowls as she watches them. Oh, this is not fair. Luis has been your boyfriend for 5 minutes and they're already falling all over him. It took a year before Mom and Dad even started to warm up. Too, she glances toward Nate, who's still on her other side, and catches herself anyone else. Nate slips his good arm around her waist and pulls her close, nuzzling her neck. What are you talking about? He teases. Your parents love me. Always have. The DJ picks up his microphone again, and the music changes to a pulsing beat. Everyone please join the happy couple on the dance floor. Chris grabs a hold of Cooper's hand and starts to pull. Come on, you'd better get ready because I'm a dancing machine at weddings. We're not stopping until the music does. Cooper blinks as he follows. There's still so much I don't know about you, isn't there? Let's dance, Browen says to Nate. Can't. He holds up his bandaged arm. I'm injured. She puts her hands on her hips. Your legs aren't. Nate grimaces and raises a hand to his forehead. I feel dizzy all of a sudden, he says, sinking into the chair behind him. I think I might pass out. When Rowan leans over him with a worried expression, he grabs her around the waist and pulls her onto his lap. I probably need CPR. You're certified, right? You're the worst. Rowan complains, but she's already started kissing him before she finishes the sentence. I look over at my parents' table where Luis is still making polite conversation. Another check mark in his pro column. Good with parents. I suggest he gives Nate lessons, but I think the whole sacrificing himself to save Rowan deal might have finally won them over. When Mom looks over our way, she doesn't even glare at the makeout session happening to my right. Luis and I spot one another at the same time, and I can't help but smile when he heads towards me. That boy in a suit. Wow. We met up on the edge of the dance floor as he holds out his hand. Shall we? We shall, I say. He spins me deftly so my skirt twirls in a glittering circle before he pulls me close. I put my head on his chest, breathing in his clean, soapy smell, and he brings his lips to my ear. How are you? It's a hard question to answer. I tilt my head so I can meet his eyes. Right this second, really good. Today was beautiful in general, though. A shiver goes through me, raising goosebumps all over my body. Things aren't great, are they? I'm scared for Ashton and Eli and everybody he works with. Nobody knows what's going on with Emma, and Brandon is still gone. My voice breaks a little. If we figured out who Jared was sooner. Louis' arms tighten around me. There's no possible way you could have seen into that guy's head any earlier than you did. Don't even go there. You did great. Maeve, you saved lives, you and Knox. That part doesn't seem real yet. My brain won't let me imagine an alternate scenario where we don't get Jared's backpack away from the restaurant. I guess I want to feel something good, something happy. So I wind my arms around Luis's neck and rise up to my toes to steal a soft kiss from his lips. One of these days, he says. When I pull away, I'm going to put the moves on you first. I smile. A smile tugs at the corners of my mouth. It worked. My mood is lifting again, looking forward to it. Maybe when I take you on a real date. I look around. Is that not what this is? Nah, there's too many other people. Plus, we've been stuck inside all day. You know how I feel about inside. You're unnaturally prejudiced against it. Yes, we would go. Where would you go instead? If, for example, we decided to do something tomorrow. La Hola Cove, he says instantly. I'd take you kayaking. I gulp. Oh God, not the beach and the ocean. But then again, maybe all of that would be different with Luis. A lot of things are still. I narrow my eyes at him. Kayaking sounds like work. I'll do it all, he promises. Is this what dating you is going to be like? You'll just cart me around on various scenic areas in the greater San Diego? It doesn't sound bad, actually. He grins. I'll teach you how to kayak if you want. It's fun, I swear. My family goes all the time in the summer. They'd love for you to come. I like the direction of this conversation, but I might not be here then, I say, his eyebrows raise. I think I'm going to apply to be a counselor at the school in Peru with Addie. If I get accepted, I'd be there from all of July and August. I've been thinking about the possibility ever since I saw the brochure at Addie's apartment, and even more after getting a clean bill of health from Dr. Girites. Last night, when I couldn't sleep, I tried to count up the positive things that have come out of this horrible experience. Luis definitely, becoming friends with Phoebe, learning that Knox and I will always be able to count on one another, and believing enough in my future to make plans for it. 2 whole months? Damn. Here comes Luis' disappointed face again until he shakes it off with a regretful smile. I mean, that sounds great. Obviously, just make sure you come back. I will, I promise. Out of the corner of my eyes, I catch sight of a familiar figure alone at an empty table. I've been keeping tabs on Knox because every once in a while, his cheerful facade cracks and he starts dropping under the weight of last night. Now looks like one of those times. I pull away from Luis and squeeze his arm. I'm going to check on Knox, okay? He looks like he could use some company. Sure, Luis says. I turn to go, but he tugs me back and cups my cheeks, bending down to plant a slow lingering kiss on my lips. My breath catches in my throat, and when he pulls away, he's smiling. That's one. Yeah, well, you still have some catching up to do. I blow him a kiss over my shoulder and head for Knox. When I reach him, he's standing, a folded napkin in one hand. Hey, he says, I think I'm gonna head out. What? No, the reception just got started. I know, but I'm wiped. Knox loosens the knot on his tie and tugs it downward. His hair is messy, his eyes shadowed with dark circles. It's been a long day, plus I thought I'd see how Phoebe's doing and bring her some cake. He lifts the napkin in his hand, and I notice that the purely white frosting poking through. They cut the cake already, I ask. How did I miss that? They didn't, Knox says, but one of the servers told me there's extra in the kitchen in case anyone wants to take some home. She gave me a slice to give to Phoebe. That's really nice of you. Impulsively, I step forward and squeeze his free hand. You're a good friend, you know that? At some point, probably soon, our weird romantic history is going to leak out of the Bayview gossip circles. The Jared Jackson story is huge, and reporters are already sniffing around for details. Mike Hale Power's crew has been calling my house nonstop. Mike Hale himself even sent a giant bouquet of colorful exotic flowers with a note, "My deepest admiration and respect always to the strong young women of the Rohays family." "Don't be swayed by his charm," Rowan lectured when I told her. "Mike Hale Powers has coaxed my sister into interview more than once. They never go badly, but she always tells herself afterward that she's not going to do it again until she does. If you do talk to him though, tell him I said hi. I don't plan on it, but I've lived through a media circus before. When Simon died, people wouldn't rest until every truth or dare of the texting game has been exposed and analyzed, including what happened between Knox and me. I've made my peace with it, though, and I hope he doesn't care any more than I do. Neither of us have anything to explain or be embarrassed about. We're lucky, that's all, beyond lucky, to have each other." He squeezes my hand back with a crooked grin. "So are you." That is the end of chapter 31. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.